Hey y'all, today I'm going to be giving my review of the Instant Pot. You see mine sitting back here on my counter. So I'm going to be giving a full review of this kitchen appliance today. To me, just to bottom line it, for those of you who want to know, I think the number one benefit to the Instant Pot is convenience. Yes, some things cook faster. Some things do not, but what they do is make cooking things totally hands off, which is a huge benefit. Take oatmeal, for example. It is not any quicker to make it in the Instant Pot, but where there's a benefit is if I make it in the microwave or the stovetop, there's a good chance I'm going to boil over the pot and make a huge mess in my kitchen. If you make it in your Instant Pot, that's not gonna happen. You just program it, make it, leave it on the counter, and like, even if you don't eat breakfast for like an hour, it'll stay warm and it's perfect. I absolutely love that I can make soups and chilies from dry beans that I have not soaked ahead of time, and they can be done relatively quickly. I would say on average, if you're making dry beans into a soup or something, it usually takes about 45 minutes, which is a great benefit because it would take you much longer to do that in a slow cooker or on the stovetop. There are several other benefits to the Instant Pot and why I like it. It's easy to clean, it's multifunctional. You can use it as a rice cooker, as a pressure cooker, slow cooker. It has several other functions as well. You can saute things before you slow cook or pressure cook them, which is great. A lot of times in my slow cooker, if I was making something and had to saute something first on the stovetop, I'll be standing there going like, I'm dirtying up all these dishes and it's annoying. So it's really nice to be able to do that in the same pot. It's just really, really convenient. The Instant Pot is very energy efficient because everything is sealed in that sealed in environment. It keeps all that heat and all that steam, and it cooks things very efficiently. For example, when I made like my whole rotisserie chicken, if I were to do that in the oven, it would heat up my whole house, which is fine sometimes, like if it's cold out. But in the summertime, I loved doing it in the Instant Pot. Another benefit is I really like the safety features on the Instant Pot.
Picture it. Sicily, 1912.
I got a stovetop pressure cooker for our wedding back 10 years ago when we got married. I think it took like 6 or 7 years before I got up the courage to use it. And finally my mom and dad were here for a visit and they were like, you've got to learn to use it. It's such a great device. And it is. I love my stovetop pressure cooker. But this one is way more convenient. Like I said, the hands-off factor is huge. It is also a lot more accurate at cooking than the stovetop pressure cooker. A lot of times you had to kind of guess about whether it was at high or medium or low pressure. In the Instant Pot, since it's automatic, it takes care of all that for you, which is really nice. It's also a lot quieter than a stovetop pressure cooker. And when it first starts coming to pressure, it's going to hiss a little bit, but as soon as it seals up, you don't hear anything until it's done. I also love how the things that I cook in there are very flavorful. Soups and chilies are probably my favorite. The flavor that gets infused is just so, so good. There are a few cons that I want to mention. I would say the learning curve is somewhat steep. It's not bad, but I have seen several people say, I bought the Instant Pot and it's just sitting in the box, and that's so sad to me. If that's you, learn how to use it because it's really fun once you build up some confidence and have some home run recipes. That being said, there are several Facebook groups. My favorite one is run by the Instant Pot community, and it is affiliated with the actual Instant Pot. But the people in this group are so knowledgeable and enthusiastic about pressure cooking in their Instant Pot. You can learn a lot just kind of by hanging around in there. You can also use the search function in the group to find specific things. Because the group is so large, as of this date, they have about 150,000 members, which is amazing, but it can be overwhelming. So I would encourage you to use the search feature to help narrow down what you're looking for. The next con I would say is that meat can be a little bit tricky. There It's kind of this sweet spot that you want to get to in your meat. You don't want things to be undercooked. You don't want them to be overcooked because they get tough. It's just tricky. There's a sweet spot, and since pressure cooking accelerates the cooking process, that window is really small, and sometimes you're left with tough or overcooked meat. Some meats are easier to cook in the Instant Pot than others. I think the easiest one to cook are chicken thighs because they are not as likely to dry out as chicken breast. Also, whole chickens are really good in the Instant Pot. I have tried beef roast and pork roast, and I haven't had consistent results. Some of them have turned out great, and some of them have been kind of tough. So I haven't been able to perfect that yet. Since that is a little tricky, I seem to kind of stick to my more tried and true methods. But maybe I'll figure it out, and if I do, I will definitely let y'all know. The next con is that I almost never use the slow cooker. There is a slow cooker setting on the Instant Pot. It's a little tricky. There's 3 settings. There's like low, medium, and high. Low on the Instant Pot is pretty much like keep warm on a regular slow cooker. So if you're trying to cook something, don't use low, use medium or high. That can throw people off a little bit, and it is a bit confusing. The other reason I hardly ever use it is because I want my Instant Pot to be available for fast pressure cooking. I use it multiple times a day, and I hate having it tied up for long periods of time. Another con is that regular pressure cooker recipes kind of have to be translated. The Instant Pot has a slightly lower PSI, and I believe that stands for pounds per square inch, than a stovetop pressure cooker. So you can't just directly follow a recipe for a stovetop pressure cooker. You have to kind of translate it a little bit. The good news is there are tons of people like myself who are writing recipes specifically for the Instant Pot and specifically for electric pressure cookers. The next con is that the sealing ring on the inside of the Instant Pot, yes, you can remove it and wash it, but it is made of silicone, and that stuff retains smell. Like, it recommends putting it in the dishwasher in the Instant Pot manual, and I do that every time I make something, and literally it can stink up my whole dishwasher. Like, we made chicken chili, which smells great, and I washed the ring in my dishwasher, and the next morning when I emptied the dishwasher, all the dishes smelled like chicken chili. And the smell had like transferred. In the group that I'm in on Facebook, several people have given suggestions for that. I have soaked mine in the sink with baking soda and dishwasher liquid. That helped a little bit. I have also run it through a cycle, just a couple minutes, with natural release with water and white vinegar, and that helps, although it does not totally eliminate the odor. It does help. So if y'all have any tried and true methods for getting the stink out of your silicone rings, let me know. From what I can tell, most people just keep 2 silicone rings, one for savory dishes and one for sweet. The only other con I can think of is a couple of times my lid has gotten stuck on the pot, and it's like something forms a vacuum in there, and really all you have to do is just let it sit for a few minutes, and it eventually releases. But all the pressure is gone, and you know, the pressure indicator has lowered, but for some reason the lid gets stuck on the pot sometimes. As for how I use it, I have a ton of different ways I use it. I make hard-boiled eggs in bulk. I make my morning oatmeal with the pot-in-pot method. I cook whole chickens almost about once a week or once every other week. And then we'll have a meal on that, and we'll usually have leftovers, a second meal on that. And then I will take the bones and make homemade bone broth or chicken stock. And by far, the Instant Pot is the best way to make bone broth because it's so fast. Well, so fast comparatively. If you want to make bone broth on the stove or in the slow cooker, it usually takes about 24 hours. If you want to make it in the Instant Pot, it takes about 2 hours. So that's pretty good. And I have been able to get the gel consistency after refrigeration, after cooking on high manual pressure for 120 minutes. That is just awesome. And again, like the flavors that are infused in that, oh, it's just so delicious. It has definitely been one of the high points of using my Instant Pot. I also love to cook whole pie pumpkins and whole butternut squash in the Instant Pot. It makes it so much easier because you do not have to peel, seed, or chop anything first. As long as you find a squash or pumpkin that will fit in your pot, you can cook the whole thing. You don't have to pierce it, you don't have to peel it, you don't have to remove the seeds. You can do all of that after it is cooked. It is so much easier. My favorite things to make in the Instant Pot by far are soups and chilies, things that are like bean dishes. I have a great red beans and rice recipe. Y'all need to check that out. I also have a great classic beef chili, as well as a white bean chicken chili. Soups by far are my favorite. I've also loved cooking chicken thighs. I love that you can cook something from frozen state. I will say, like, if you have a big block of chicken thighs, they do need to be de-thawed enough to separate them out. If you just put the whole chunk in there and they're all frozen together, you're gonna have some spots that are not cooked all the way through. So you do have to de-thaw them enough that you can pull each individual thigh or chicken breast apart. With that, I'm just going to show you a few things about the Instant Pot. I will also show you a few of the accessories that I have bought. Okay, here's my pot. It literally stays sitting on my counter because there's really no point in putting it away. When you open it, it makes a sound. And then also when you close it, it's kind of comforting to have that safety feature. And when you lock it, it also gives you a sound indicator. Up here you have the pressure release. There's two settings. You have sealing and venting on either side. You can do that. And also this piece comes off and you can wash it and make sure it doesn't get clogged up. In fact, Instant Pot recommends that you wash it after every use. They also recommend that you remove this as well as the silicone ring and wash those after every use. I will say if I'm making something back to back and it's not too stinky, I don't always do that, but I do make sure to wash this at least once a day. Like I said, I'm a heavy user of the Instant Pot. Well, here is the stainless steel liner. Mine's got a few spots in it right now because, like I said, I use it a lot. For cleaning, I have found the best thing to use if you have scorching or anything like that. The best thing is to add some dish soap, a little bit of vinegar, and hot water and let it sit for a little while, and that will kind of bring up a lot of those chunks. My Instant Pot came with this little trivet, which is very handy. If you're making something that you want to steam, you just sit it down in there, and when you pour liquid in, that way whatever's on the trivet is not going to touch the liquid. So a lot of times I will saute meat on both sides and then place it on the trivet and add liquid and steam it the rest of the way through. I also use the trivet when I'm doing squash or pumpkin to kind of keep it up out of the water. I purchased a springform pan. This is not a standard size. I can link these below. I purchased this. A lot of people have made cheesecake. I've also seen people do lasagna, and you can do that in this springform pan. This I have used quite a bit. I've made some pumpkin chocolate chip bread. Again, it's not your standard size. I'll link the one that I have below. The other thing that I bought is this clear glass lid. You can use it on the slow cooker setting, which I find really handy. A lot of times you want to just quickly be able to glance and see what's going on there. So if you're looking to buy accessories right off the bat, I would probably recommend that, as well as an extra stainless steel liner, which is what I have as well. It also came with two of these plastic spoons. I cannot find my other one for the life of me. We do use this for rice. That's pretty much it. Most of the time I just use a wooden spoon or whatever else I have sitting around, a serving spoon or a ladle if we're eating soup. So it's nice that it came with that, but I don't use it that much. And last but not least, I bought this silicone lid. It's great if you just have a bunch of soup or chili or something in here. You just want to throw on the lid and stick it in the fridge without dirtying up Tupperware or a storage container. It's great for that. Of course, you could do the glass lid the same way, but it's just good to have options. There are several settings on this Instant Pot. You see rice, multigrain, porridge, steam, slow cook, soup, poultry, meat, stew, bean chili, saute. I will say like 90% of the time I'm using manual. I use saute quite a bit as well, so these are probably the MVPs for me. I use steam to cook hard-boiled eggs. I do low steam setting on that. If I remember to, if I'm cooking chicken, I'll use poultry, but 9 times out of 10, I just do manual, and it turns out great. Same with the rice setting. I really haven't used that very much. I just use manual, and like for jasmine rice, I rinse it first. I just do a 1-to-1 ratio of liquid to rice, and then cook it for 10 minutes with natural release, and it's perfect. The Instant Pot also comes with a user manual and a recipe guide. Both of those are available online. If you misplace or lose yours, and I have lost my recipe guides, I refer to the online version of that quite a bit. Well, that sums up my Instant Pot review. I hope this review was helpful to y'all. I hope it gives you some ideas of how I use my pot. And I'm going to leave a link to my entire Instant Pot recipe collection below. There's some great recipes in there, so y'all be sure and try those out. If you like them, share away. I would love for you to share the links to those recipes. I just feel like the more people that, if you learn to make a few simple dishes, you're going to keep wanting to learn more and use your Instant Pot even more. Do you have an Instant Pot, or have you been thinking about getting one? I would love to hear any tips that you have for us, or any favorite recipes. Drop a link below. I would love to hear what you think about yours and how you use it. So y'all be sure and leave me a comment and let me know. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.